right, we're going to call a regular council meeting to order, Monday, October 16, 2023, 5 p.m., 5:01 p.m. And we request that you turn your cell phones off or down, and we'll get a roll call, please.
Commissioner Edelman.
Here.
Commissioner Hedrington.
Here.
Commissioner Morris.
Here.
Commissioner Prentice.
Here.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
Here. And we'll stand for our pledge of allegiance, please. Take your hats off your head. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Don, take over.
Heavenly Father, we just lift up the Middle East, and we just would ask for a miracle, Lord, that you would bring peace to that whole region, and all the fighting that is going on would come to an end. And we just ask for your wisdom tonight as the council discusses and votes on issues important for the city. And so we just seek your wisdom in that, and just that your will be done. In Jesus' name.
Yeah. Okay. Let's approve of the agenda. We don't have to amend it today. This will be the first time in a while. Get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment. Please stand and give us your name is all. And we can go right down the line if you want.
My name is Diane LaForge, and this is Judy Nichols. I'm from Rockton, and she is from South Beloit. And we are here, I just thought I'd throw that out there. And we are here to talk to you a little bit about 50 North. We're actually here because we were here last year as well. And our organization is a senior activity center. It's an organization for seniors in the communities of Rockton, Roscoe, and South Beloit. And you were so good to support us last year, both financially as well as helping us to get the word out to seniors in your community about our event. And we just wanted to come and let you know that we are, kind of give you an update that we are still going strong. Actually, we're going stronger than ever. We're happy to report. We've just completed our first year post-COVID, where we're up and running now the first and third Tuesdays of each month from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. And our membership is up. We started out, our membership was somewhere between 25 to 35 at our meetings or whatever. And now we're seeing somewhere between 45 to 50, somewhere along. And we've had a couple of events recently where we've had as many as 75, 85 people attending. And so we're just here to kind of let you know. I gave you all a little card here to kind of remind you and give you the basic information or whatever, but we're here to ask once again if we could have your support this year, and to let you know that if there's anything we can do for you, that we would love to help out as well, and just let you know we're out there.
We're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we learned we met this young lady here, and so she's just amazing. She's gonna, what her program is, and it can coordinate with our program. So it's a really good thing. So I'm glad we met you. Yeah. So
I have a couple questions. What did we give last time? I'm not sure.
$5,000 in 2023.
5,000, 2023. Can I ask what Rockton and Roscoe gave? How much money did they give you?
Rockton gave us last year $1,500, and Roscoe gave us $2,500. We're a little worried that we have a commitment from Rockton again this year, but we're a little worried about Roscoe. We're meeting with them right now and trying to give them our best sales pitch, but meeting with a little resistance there. So
Do you girls have a specific ask that you're hoping for 5?
we would be very, very happy if you could just continue with the 5 again. We are kind of hoping to, we've done a lot of our programs locally, trying to connect our seniors, and so we've had like the fire departments come in, the police departments, we talk about public safety,
school districts, we had Mr. Fisher there.
Mr. Lucas was
Mr.
at one of our
Lucas was
meetings,
there.
two of our meetings. And, yeah.
Yeah,
And-
so we.
But that's very low budget
Yeah,
types of
yeah.
things. And we are looking to see once if we can maybe pick up a little bit this year, where we have a few more programs where there's a little entertainment, things that will probably cost us a little bit more money. We survey our group. There are no fees or memberships to belong. We just welcome you to come through the door, and you can come as often as you want, or as little as you want. We survey our people, our friends. We survey our friends to see once what they would like to have us do, and some of that has involved some things that we haven't been prepared for financially, but we're kind of hoping maybe that next year, with everyone's support again, we might be able to pick up our programming a little more, and we have a really good group of people. We really do. It's been hard to get seniors out again after COVID.
Where do you meet?
It is budget season, Mayor, so if you want me to reach back to these ladies once we've figured out our budget for '24, I can do that.
All right, let's do that, because,
Perfect time, we're finalizing our budget in the next 8 weeks, so.
Perfectly. Right now, we're meeting at the Roscoe Community Center, the new community center near Schnucks.
Okay.
Because the Rockton Community Center is doing some renovations. So right now, we're meeting in Roscoe, but we'll be going back to Rockton, we think.
If you don't mind me asking, I don't know if you're at liberty to say, so you're having an issue with Roscoe, what's the issue?
Well,
It's pilot, I don't know.
yeah, we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They don't seem, they're not supportive. Can I just put it diplomatically?
I completely understand, that's fine.
They're not being supportive, and our biggest issue is that they haven't come, like if we could get them through the door and they said, oh golly, this is just a bad idea, there's nothing to be gained by attending this, we would understand that, but we've invited them and they just do not, we just want them to come hang out with us for an event, and if they would, we think we could get them to see a little differently. And 30%, we have figured it out. We keep some really good records. We've started doing this, and 30% of the people that attend are from Roscoe.
What percent Southwood?
Pretty much the same. I would pretty much guess it'd be the same thing. We just started doing this now, and I know Roscoe's in our mind because that's the one that we were, having talks with. So
We're probably close to
pretty
that.
close to that.
we'll discuss this, and we'll see what we can come up with. I'd like
We
to,
really appreciate it.
yeah.
You guys have been very generous in the past, and we really appreciate it.
Nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
well, we ain't getting any younger, so I know that
Yeah.
I know we
Yeah, we
qualify.
might see you
Yeah,
at.
she's-
You're all welcome. You're all welcome.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Mary?
Good evening. I didn't realize this would be so entertaining. I might be attending in the future. Lots of fun personalities. Good evening. My name is Mary Fanning Penny. I am the CEO at United Way Blackhawk Region, and I want to extend my gratitude. This has been a long-standing partnership between United Way and the City of South Beloit for many, many years. Sonia, through her leadership and her team, continues to facilitate a campaign that's available to employees to contribute, of course, completely voluntary, predating Sonia's leadership with, then Mayor Rail. So I, more than anything, wanted to say thank you and report that in our last community grant cycle, more than 10,000 individuals and families that cited South Beloit as their city of residence accessed United Way funded programs and services. Now, that might be a duplicative number because there could be someone, say, utilizing domestic violence survivor services and also accessing affordable child care scholarships at the same time. So it could be the same individual or family, but more than 10,000 reported from South Beloit. I should back up and say, I'm sorry, I'm not from South Beloit, but my mom is. And she lives here. So I do have an affinity for South Beloit, of course. So more than anything, I wanted to say thank you for your support, your partnership that makes those services available to vulnerable members of our community who need it most. United Way's annual community campaign supports more than 30 local health and human service programs with competitive community grants. Like everyone can relate, it's been a tough environment, so any and everything by way of financial support helps. I also wanted to give just a really quick plug for your leaders in the room that could continue to help us to get the good word out. United Way donor dollars also provide 211. Similar to 911 or 411, it's a 3-digit phone number that people can call 24 hours a day, 365, and talk to an actual person and be referred to programs and services in their community that they might need. Our region covers all of Rock County, as well as Rockton, Roscoe, and South Beloit. Sadly, not many people know that 211 exists. It's free, it's confidential, and they can provide referrals to those existing programs. So to the extent you're out and about in the community, as certainly esteemed servant leaders you are, if you can help to let people know that that's available for them to utilize, we also appreciate that. So again, I'm here to say thank you. I'm happy to entertain any questions and wanted to have that important FaceTime.
Tracy and I met with Mary a couple of weeks ago, and we've handed out some posters to all of our different city buildings. I think I put them up there. We'll do that again, but I'll keep kind of sending that out to everyone and try to get that wrapped up. What do we say, like mid-November or something?
Yep, that sounds
So
great.
our campaign will run for about another month. So I'll continue hounding you guys and make sure we spread the good cheer throughout each department, but then I'll be the keeper of all that and make sure that it gets into Mary's hands.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the partnership again.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Cindy, do you want to wait till it comes up?
Whenever.
Okay, that way it'd be,
No problem. Thank you.
might be a long ways from now, we might forget, so. Anyway, I'm gonna have something to say here. I in the past month or so, 2 months, I've seen a lot of different negative things about South Beloit as far as the road construction and stuff like that. And people, I don't believe they understand that Black Hawk Boulevard, Highway 2, is a state road. That's a state road. Gardner, 75, is a state road. They are responsible for it, same as 251. And as far as the resurfacing that was done, Sonia and I went down to Springfield to try to get some funding. We didn't know if we could. We didn't think we'd done any good. This project was not supposed to be done. Even the resurfacing on that 800 feet was not supposed to be done for another 5 years. It was a 10-year project 10 years ago, and we still didn't have anybody doing anything. And they surprised us, come up with a bridge crew to do the resurfacing. I know there was a couple spots in there that needs to be fixed, and they're getting fixed now, and everything else. And a major project will be done. And another thing is that people don't understand is the railroad crossing. I've dealt with railroad my whole life, and I'll tell you what, they're hard people to deal with, and the state, the county, the city has nothing to do with them. You call them, you talk to them, they should nod your head, and then because that's their property. And the only thing a person can do is on each crossing they'll have a number. Call that number and complain, because it doesn't do anybody else any good. As far as our projects, as far as our street projects, resurfacing, this year we're supposed to do Hayes Avenue, and it was going to cost us $1 million something or whatever. And we found out that there was sewer problems, storm sewer and sewer problems for 3 blocks. So we decided that what we would do is fix the sewer problem, 3 blocks, and the north end of Hayes and south end of Hayes will be done next year. And so instead we took that funds that we had and decided that we would do some Misty Meadows, some streets out there, and then some out there by De La Torre. And those, that will be all taken care of. And when we do Hayes Avenue next year, the Forest Park, Perry, Springfield, those roads will be done at that time. It'll be resurfaced. And people also don't realize that our budget runs right around $10 million every year. And that's what we need all the revenue we can get. And people are wondering, how do we spend the money from cannabis? And how do we spend the money from our gaming? Well, it goes into paying for everything we got. And if you want to know what we spend on a budget, just get on our website. It's right on the website. All you have to do is touch it. And here I'll tell you another thing is, just taking a $100,000 house, I just took a number and I said, okay, here's a $100,000 house. Where does your $2,200 or whatever it costs for you for your taxes, where does that go? It all depends on what kind of deductions you have or things or whatever. And here it is. I just think Winnebago County gets $120 of that. Rockton Township and their pension, Winnebago pension, gets like $40, $50. Rockton Township, $35. South Beloit pensions, $55. School pensions, $40. Community college, $90. South Beloit Library, $40. The city of South Beloit will get a grand total of $130 out of that $2,200. And the school system will get about $1,050. So that's pretty much, those numbers you can go $10 or whatever one way or the other, but that's it. And out of our budget, people don't realize that our police department's $2.3 million, our fire department's $1.3 million. We have, and that kind of stuff, we pay for that, use that money. We bought, last couple years, we bought a new fire truck, cost us $500,000. Ambulance, $200,000. We buy new squads every year. Every 2-3 years, we buy 2 squads. And I says, stuff like that, new tractors and inloaders and what have you. But I want people to realize that if they have a problem with how we're doing things, if you call, you can call my number, call me, I'll answer. I'll give you the answer I know. And if I don't think it's right, I'll get the right people here to give me the answer that's right. But I'd rather people realize that these roads that we're boxed in by are all state roads, and they're not owned by South Beloit. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox, and that's it for now. All right, and if anybody else got anything to say, we'll move on. All right, moving on. Approval of minutes for the regular council meeting held October 2nd, 2023. See you later, ladies. Thank you. We get a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Attorney's report.
Just one thing, we are involved in some litigation. It's a suit that's been filed. I don't think I'm getting any strategy away from it, but we were supposed to receive some type of filing and pleading today from Five Brothers, and when I left the office to come up here, hadn't gotten it yet, so it may be in the email now. I may get it. It was due today anyway, so as soon as we get that, we'll bring you up to speed.
That's it. Thank you, Dave. All right, reports.
Mary skipped the finance approval of claims.
I skipped what?
The approval of the claims.
Oh, approval of claims, yeah. All right, we'll get approval of claims paid between September 30th and October 13th. Get a motion, please?
Motion. Second.
For the amount of?
$343,564.74.
Thank you. Tracy, please?
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes. All right, I did skip that. Sorry.
No problem, Mayor. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I know. Keep me on my toes.
All right.
I jump around. All right, go ahead.
I've got just a couple of super quick things. You have 2 full-time hires on the agenda tonight. We've spent a lot of time in the last month or more trying to get these filled, so looking forward to streets being fully staffed at a full-time level, and finance having his right-hand person back starting Monday, hopefully. So those 2 hires on the agenda tonight. Also, the timetable that Don is going to present. Last year, we adjusted based on the council's availability, the 4 meetings that were non-council meetings for budget season. So those 4, we can review more in depth, but I propose that if there are times that work for all of you, that maybe we can do these meetings at 4, 4:15, 4:30, 4:45, anything that is more helpful than 5 o'clock, especially for those really quick ones that only take like 15 minutes to not keep people beyond 5. But we'll do it based on your availability, but just wanted to throw that out there. Don's got his timetable set. And then the last thing is, Commissioner Edelman last year asked if we would record the budget meetings. It kind of goes hand in hand with what you were just talking about, Mayor, and trying to make people more available. But Karen reminded us last week that, hey, Ryan wanted us to record these, and so we're going to make sure that every one of these council meetings is not only the agenda posted on our website, and if people are looking for any of those documents, the budget is under documents and then financial documents. Our budget is there with several other documents, but the recordings will also be the agenda and the recordings. So if people really want to know about how did we decide what tax to levy, we'll have that meeting on the schedule online, so the recording will also be available on our website. So all of these meetings will be not only recorded, but available, easy to find. There's not that much on our website, so pretty darn easy to find. So
Thank you.
just wanted to let you know that will happen. Thanks to Karen reminding us that.
Good job.
Well done, Karen. All right, but that's it, and then we have the financial quarterly report.
First of all, can you take what you want to do with our meetings for our budget meetings? Give us a proposed thing so that we can
Yeah.
look at them, give us a proposed time, and everybody can give you their, what they think.
So
I mean,
different than what you already put out?
Well, there's just 4 of these, so you have this list yet? Do they have this list on?
Is that the one that was in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can tell you the meeting that's on 10:30 is a non-council meeting. The meeting that's on 11:13 is a non-council meeting. 11:27 and 12:05. So those 4 meetings are non-council meeting minutes. So if we could move those to an earlier time, whatever is suitable to your work schedule. I know all of you work, so it's really just, if it's an option.
I thought you wanted, okay.
Last year, we moved 2 of them. One was at 4:15 and one was at 4:35.
That was last year, I don't remember.
All right,
You
okay,
guys
thank you.
can think on it when Don's finished and we need to get this agenda.
Yeah,
firmed up
okay.
tonight.
Yeah.
I think last year we did change the time after, but we would really like this to get finalized, including times, so that we can get posted and not change it.
Okay, Don, you got the floor.
Okay. My discussion really is on where we are for this year, particularly with the general fund. And I handed out the September budget report that was handed out previously. But I just updated the sewer billing that was billed like the first or second day of October. That was not in that original report because of the fact that the month ended over the weekend, and so the board meeting was like the first day of the month, second day of the month, I guess. And so we didn't have the sewer billing in that previous report. The issue that I wanted to discuss with you is, if you'll turn to page 5, there's toward the top, and the bolded numbers are the status of the general fund through September. And when you look at the numbers over on the right-hand side, percentage of budget, you'll notice that the revenues are right at 75, just a shade above 75%, which is a good, meaning that basically our revenue stream is running according to budget. When you look at the expenditures, it's like 52%, which is way below. And part of that is because in the general fund, we have transfers of $1,646,000. $690,000 going to community development and $851,000 going to capital. We typically don't make those transfers until the end of the year because if the general fund, for whatever reason, is not receiving the revenues, we would not make some of those transfers. At this point, it would. So when you adjust for those transfers, would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 65%. Almost every department, with the exception of public affairs, has had their personnel costs are below budget because they've lost employees. And it's one of those situations that it's getting harder and harder to replace because of the inflationary factor and what seemingly is people just aren't available to fill our needs. And so consequently, when we get into the budget for this year, the personnel costs will be a significant issue as to what the board will need to consider as to what we're going to budget for next year in the way of personnel increases. Some of the big items are FOP has a contract through 2024, so that one we know what the numbers are. ICOPS is, I think their contract ended in 22 and they're negotiating now, or it ends in 23, ends in 23 I think. So they would be negotiating, and they're, when you hear United Automobile workers asking for 40% increases and decrease in hours per work week, and everybody is dealing with inflation, the personnel issues will be a significant factor in next year's budget. The other thing is that typically we look at, during the budget process, we look at where we are with the big ticket items, and many of the big ticket items that we budgeted for this year have been delayed. And so we, in other funds like in capital and community development, we had plans for expenditures that have not come to fruition just simply because of court cases or a whole number of other reasons. So consequently, the fund balances are probably higher than we've ever experienced. The good news is that with 5+% in interest, we will earn over $600,000 in interest income for all the funds within the city. And that's partially because earlier in the year, right now we're getting somewhere in the neighborhood of in excess of $50,000 a month in interest income. Early in the year, we had a lot of CDs and things that were still at the 1-2% interest rates. But as they've matured, we've been putting them out at 4 and 5% interest. So looking at next year, having fund balances with where we are generates significant interest income. So as we head into this year's time frame is extremely tight. I feel like I'm not as far along as I typically would be in this process because of doing payroll and some other situations because of not having an employee that would normally be doing that. And so consequently, this is looking like a challenging year because of the impact of inflation is going to have on next year. And we are blessed in the fact that our expenses this year are below budget and our revenues are right at budget. So we're going in with significant fund balances, and we'll look at the big ticket items first to try and decide road and other big items. We have an ambulance that we budgeted part this year, ordered it for delivery next year, and so we have a built-in $200,000 need additional for the budget for next year out of capital, and but we have no expenditure out of this year, so that's in the fund balance for the capital projects. So that's kind of where we are. Basically, good news all around. The exception being that when you look at corporate personal property replacement tax, which will be probably about 800,000 this year. Illinois Municipal League is looking for a reduction of 26% in that source of funding that comes from the state of Illinois. We don't have any control over that, whatever the state decides to allocate. But the last 2 years, the revenue from that source has been way higher than anybody ever imagined.
What are you saying last year about the same thing? Like we were getting way more than we were expecting, and
Yes,
not sure why.
Last year, through 9 months, we had $752,000. And this year so far, we're at $687,000. We have the distribution for October, which is another $120,000. And then there will be one more distribution in December, which typically is a very small, $20,000 or $30,000. So right now we have things are positive, but we have a lot of challenges in the future. Any questions?
I think you can handle it, Don. I remember, well, like I said, I remember when we come in here, when I was part of the crew that came in 2015, we were at a point where we had to lay off a police officer, remember that? Lay off a street department employee so we could make budget, you know. We didn't have enough money to pay for it, so I think we can figure something out this
There's
year.
no doubt we've been blessed the last
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Financially.
Yep, as long as we spend our money wisely. Okay. Anything else?
Don, do you want to review the budget timetable and try to firm up these dates, times? So the dates are pretty much structured the way that they have to. For some of it is the statute, you have to close things at certain times.
Are we jumping down in the order on the,
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You want to do it later?
what's on the agenda, so,
Okay. Then we'll wait.
okay.
It's okay to run the show here now? All right.
Are you good with that, Don?
All right.
Don's good with it, Mayor.
All right, okay. So then we'll move on. We'll move on to ordinance first read. Is there any reason we should move this to the second read, or do we want to sit and read this a little more?
I make a motion, move it to the second read. Second.
Okay,
Attorney Killinger, are you prepared to review these? These are a handful of items that we have been talking about and chewing on for a real long time. We finally just got them buttoned up.
I've been reading, I tried to read it.
All this was kind of formalizing what the presentation is. If you have specific questions, I'll try to address those.
So, everything okay then? I mean, I looked through it, I'd rather have a second read. I'd rather have you give it time, because it doesn't matter right now anyway, right?
No, anything
It's
that
only
is-
2
that would
weeks.
impact employees currently,
Yeah.
it would be retro.
Yeah, and I think we give us a chance. I read through the book, but you know how it is, I like to take a second read on it myself, just to make
Yeah.
sure that,
Do you want us to go through the handful of items and at least give you staff comments on them there, or do you just want to read them again? Read them. Dave, are you prepared, or should you and I do it? We can go through it. Do you want to know why these things came up and, you know?
yeah,
kind of back
I like
to
to,
the
I
staff
think
comments?
that's what we should do.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, I can try to do it at a high level, but if the two of you feel like I'm missing something, just something. The health insurance waiver, basically, we're looking for creative ways to incentivize employees. We know that in several departments, our wages are not, you know, the highest range, that some of our neighbors have higher paid wages. So this is one of those items that we identified that we should really be giving employees back a little thank you for if they have an insurance plan that they could be on with their spouse and they don't need ours, we should incentivize that and, you know, thank them for not being on our plan. A typical family plan is roughly $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 a year. So the amount that we're proposing is around 3, whether they're a single plus one, or a single plus children. quarterly, so it would be $754 times over the course of a year to give them a $3,000 thanks for opting with your spouse's insurance instead of ours. We do feel like we have a rock solid health package. So if they have something better, then, hoorah for them. We still want to thank them for that. We have a nepotism policy. This is one, again, that Tracy has probably been chewing on with Roxanne long before I was here. But this is just basically, putting some words behind the idea of we don't want people supervising, their immediate family. Did I miss one? Yep, another incentive for especially new hires is generally we don't allow new hires to take any vacation leave until they've been with us for a year. That's really difficult for most families these days, and so we're reducing that to 6 months with your supervisors. That's what that one is.
I got one question on the nepotism. It's kind of different because, I know in your line of work, the fire department, police department, both, there's families, go through it, and, it's hard to, it is, it's normal. That's, once you get a family, 5 or 6 police officers, 5 or 6 fire department people, and that'd be kind of tough on a small department like ours. I don't know, that should come to mind when we were talking about
It's
it.
even more important because I'm pretty sure that in 2022, there was a day, was it Bill's mom who passed away? And dad, and there were more than one homeborn on at the time, and this was one of those situations where we really need this, God forbid something happens to someone in your family and all 4 of you are on the clock at the same time. This is not healthy for anyone, that the city doesn't want to have 4 people in the same family on at the same time, where if something happens in their family, our city is a little more vulnerable, but also it can still exist. We wouldn't be displacing anyone, we wouldn't be removing anyone from any department, but if it happens, the direct supervision of that person should not be under their immediate family.
I don't agree with that, but I don't see in this small department or this small town where it would come into play. I see what's come into play is like, Jason, if your son, let's say you have a son, I don't know, but anyway, you want him in the fire department, all of a sudden he's here and you're his boss. But, that's normal for that line of work and normal for everything. I don't agree with that. That's just my viewpoint.
It's very typical to have this indirect supervision that Sonia's talking about when you have this, even with a small department. And when I was working with the county, we had this put in too, and it sounds a lot worse than it is, Mayor. I think that's what it is. It's a situation comes up. The other way that you can look at it is, suppose there's some kind of family dispute that comes to the workplace. You don't want that to happen at all, and by having this, the supervision kind of shut it off to the side, you avoid situations like that, the possibilities. Sonia, I don't know if that addresses that issue too, but that is one of the issues that comes up, even when you have spouses. We're talking about children. Sometimes you can have spouses that are in the same department, and you run into the same idea.
We hired Commissioner Prentice's son this year. We just made sure that, hey, look, you report to Steve, you don't report to your dad. We don't want to get in a situation where it's up for discussion. This is something that Roxanne, Tracy, and I have landed on. It's a recommendation for your review, and if there's pieces you don't like, just post them, and we don't have to do this, but just do it.
What do you guys think about it?
It's really common to have a nepotism policy. It's like super, super common. So, and I agree with Attorney Kerlink, it sounds worse than what it is. It's really about direct supervision. And I'll give you the example for the fire department. If Jason's son went into the fire department, you would simply want somebody else being the boss of Jason's son. It doesn't say that he can't be there. It just means that Jason can't be the direct person to, to discipline you or whatever. You've got to have a layer in there somewhere. So, like I said, it sounds worse. I like the way
You know,
Carlene said it. It sounds worse than what it is.
I tell you, the reason I say that, because my occupation before, if we had, if we had brothers, which we did, they kept each other in line. We had dads, which was my dad, you know, you be here and you do this, you know, and it was like that. It was always positive more than negative, you know, but I don't care. It is what it is.
It is a different world.
Huh?
It is a different world.
Well, I'm just saying that we got a small department. We don't like we have 100 officers where you can put one over in a different precinct or something. You know, it's the same thing that I think when we get good people working and they have their spouses or sons or daughters or whatever, and they go into it, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, I think. But go ahead. That's it. I'm the only one that thinks that way evidently here. So
I
go.
like that we're flushing it out. Another
Yeah.
thing is, if we hired someone who was related to you, one of your boys, to be a department head, how's that look for you? And do you want to take the heat that, that's
No,
another
I
side.
mean, that's-
Sometimes
It's protection for both sides, really,
it is.
you know?
Well, you know, if you have hired one of my kids, they'd do what they were told. But anyway, that's beside the point.
The world needs more mayor kids.
They might not listen,
It's good
but
for a
that's,
second read. It's nothing that is urgent at all.
that's all right. Go through it and we'll decide.
There are ways to control in police department, fire department, there's different shifts. Person, all three people don't have to be on the same shift, they don't have to be under the same supervisor.
Okay, like I said, it was just my way of thinking, all right. Go ahead.
I think the last one is travel expenses. Our policy was very vague. It basically said that maximum allowable reimbursement for travel, meal, and lodging would be set at $500 per conference. We have just found that if you're going to, Knox, Illinois, maybe that's not a reasonable amount, but if you're going to Chicago or San Francisco for a training, you're not comparing apples to apples. So what we've done is just kind of put in some more common sense type language, like, hey, we're not going to pay for you to have a double suite, but if you pay for the standard room, here's the amounts of money that your meal should be, and if you opt to have steak and lobster with a side of, a la carte everything, then you pay the difference beyond some reasonable amount. So it was really just making it a little more, keeping it broad, allowing for more when you're in big cities, and keeping it reasonable when there's more. This is Attorney Curlingus, you're probably the one to speak to this with the bereavement law change.
The law has changed as far as what has to be offered and given to people that are on there. And this was put together, we're reviewing a lot of employee handbooks to make them in compliance with the newly enacted statute by the state of Illinois. So we have to comply with it. So that's what you have here.
Going back to the travel reimbursement, if out of town, one personal safe arrival telephone call will be allowed.
We laughed about this too, but we thought, I don't know, maybe you leave your phones at home and you need to charge your room a call.
Okay,
We don't
charging
want
a
you
room
charging
call.
things
Okay.
to your room.
Don't let me catch anybody making
I'm telling
more
you.
than one personal phone call.
You can't say, can I use your phone?
Listen,
It probably didn't need to be.
It's here. Don't make any of those.
It could be like they used to when you'd call collect and then
Yes.
say,
We have a
That
couple-
makes sense.
will you accept a
Game's over,
call
Mom.
from?
I'm here, I made it back.
Yeah.
We have some things,
You used to
in a
call
lot of
for-
our policies, we have beasts of burden,
Okay, all right.
Just
I
go
saw it.
for
It just makes sense, but in the context of collect phone calls, that makes sense.
charging things.
1987, we're good.
Don't put your HBO rentals on,
Right under collect. Shit, I'm at home safe.
I'm going to call you the next time I'm gone.
All right.
We did
You're
make
allowed
a
one call.
recommendation to Attorney Sosnowski that maybe we consider removing that.
I mean,
It's your language.
whatever. It's there. Who cares?
All right. Moving
I
on.
think that's really
Now we have a motion and a second to move it to the second read. So
Are you okay with the second
Yeah,
reading?
I'm okay, I'm fine.
I'll
Okay,
resend
we
that
need a
motion.
voice.
No, he said.
No, I said I'm
You're
fine
okay?
with it, I'm
You're
fine
okay?
with it,
All right, well,
it's, I just wanted to
Voice
voice
vote.
my concern.
Voice vote for
All
second
in
reading.
favor?
Aye.
all right.
And then we need a motion and a second to,
I'll make a motion that we approve, ordinance 2764, amending the employee handbook.
Second.
Tracy?
Commissioner Amon,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes. Just expressing my concerns, that's all I was doing. All right, we're going on, moving on. Approve 2024 budget timetable. We get a motion.
So moved.
Get a second?
Second.
All right,
It's down the road.
Okay. This budget timetable pretty much follows what we've been doing in the past. The exception is that we normally would have had a meeting scheduled for the November 20th. We ended up cutting that out last year because we didn't need it. Obviously, our plan is pretty similar in that we try and come in with the estimated revenues before we start looking at expenditures. And so the very first meeting is October 30th. And then we have a statutory requirement to approve the tax levy amounts, mainly because of the truth in taxation requirements. And so that will be done at the board meeting on the 6th. We already know what the estimated assessed value is, and we'd be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60,000 increase in property tax, mainly because of the increase in assessed values. But we've had discussions in the past as to whether or not to levy that, what we're allowed to do so, and because of the fact that if you don't levy it, you lose it. So basically, we've taken the approach in the past, and so what we would bring in for that meeting would be what we're allowed to increase for. Then we get into the nitty-gritty of the budget, and obviously we have we have the statutory requirements that we make the budget available before and hold a public hearing before we adopt it. And so those schedules as to when we would publish and when the public hearing, when the budget would be made available are the two red items. And then we would hold the public hearing on the 27th. After the public hearing, we would then have a regular budget meeting and then adopt the budget on the at the one of those dates is wrong.
It should be the 4th, December 4th.
On December 4th, we would adopt the budget and the tax levy. So that's pretty much the same schedules, and all these schedules are with the idea that we're meeting at 5 or 5:05 in the case of the budget meeting after the public hearing. If for some reason, as Sonia had asked earlier, you could meet earlier, then we would adjust that meeting time.
So there are 3 dates, as the last mention is the 4th. So the dates you're looking at are Monday, October 30th. That time is up for discussion. Monday, November 13th. And Monday, November 27th.
you want to move that to what time? No, I mean, you guys have an
You
idea.
guys that
Are you guys thinking like 4:45, 4:30? Like, how much time do you think we need?
4, 4:15?
Okay, everybody make 4:15,
On all 3 dates?
all 3 dates. All right,
I'm looking at my work calendar right now. I don't have any problem with doing 4:15, let me just make sure the work calendar chimes on those days.
Yeah, I can do earlier on the 30th. The 13th, I can potentially do earlier. I'm in a different hearing at 3 o'clock downtown. But if I'm not here, it's not the end of the world if the rest of you can make it.
Ooh, would want you to be there.
Yeah, but I'm going into a hearing at 3 o'clock in the
I
courthouse.
might not be here anyway.
Correct. There's no guarantee that that's gonna end up.
What time are you talking about doing that?
4:15.
That's fine, I can do that.
Okay, we got everybody's okay at 4:15.
On all three?
Yep.
The 30th, the 13th, and the 27th.
Correct. So I will update this and, well, Don and I will update it and I'll send it out tomorrow.
Okay, we got this all set. Now we just need a motion. We get a motion.
We already got a motion.
We did. All right, and then we just need to vote on it.
Yep. Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes. Okay, that's a 5-0. All right, we got approved trick or treat hours. Handle that?
Last year, we landed on 4:30 to 7 after lots of debate and comparison. This year, I have looked at 23 years, and that seems to be a really common timeframe. Not many people are starting earlier than 4:30, and very few are going until 8 o'clock. There's also only one community this year out of the 26 that were listed that is still trying, Rochelle is still trying the Saturday thing, but Roscoe has moved away from the last Saturday and gone back to Halloween. So we had a lot of discussion about that last year also.
A lot of people
Yep.
tried it and went back.
So I feel like what we did last year, 4:30 to 7.
Yeah,
worked out
Pentatonic
well.
and Byron, yeah, they tried the weekend and they all went back out.
Let's try Saturday.
Ooh.
Joke, guys, joke.
All right, motion?
For
Yeah.
fourth, you're asking.
What are we doing?
4:30.
4:30 to 7
4:30 to 7.
4:30 to 7 is where we landed last year, and I think
Second.
it's good.
on Halloween.
We can do all in favor on this one, can't we?
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye.
Uh,
Okay, 4:30 to 7. Trick or treat. All right, see, above request for funding an amount of $600 from the Park and Rec Advisory Board for October event in the city park. Get a motion.
So moved.
Get a second.
Second.
Okay, up for discussion. What,
So let's have Cindy talk first and then we
all right.
go from there.
Okay, Cindy.
I want to, Sonia thought it would be great to recognize Paul Heiser and give him a cup with $100 in it. And I do have a lot of volunteers to help wrangle the kids around in their costumes for judging and first, second, and third place. And I do have to buy candy. And I would love to be able to hand out some of the city workers that are donating their time, or even if they're not donating their time, their lunch for them or their dinner. And I probably won't spend all of it. I'd like a few more pumpkins to make it look more Halloween, but I did save my ones from last time, and the mums are gonna go in the city garden as soon as this event is over. So that's what I'd like to do.
So you're thinking 100 for Paul.
100 for Paul.
How much are you thinking on Keith?
You know, I'm gonna probably go to, I should have went to Oriental Trader, but I didn't think of that until later, but I think I'd just go to Costco and buy. I don't know how many.
How much did we go through in the parade?
We spent $500 on Tootsie Rolls for the parade, and that gets us 6 crates.
And that's way more than what we're gonna need for
Yeah.
something like this.
I guess I'm not sure, it depends on how we hand it out.
Right.
Well, first off, you know, we're just gonna be one of the people handing out, because you're gonna have,
The city trucks. And
well, yeah, you're gonna have, St. Peter's, you're gonna have Faith
St.
Lutheran.
Yes.
We've got several other people, it's trunk or treat, so there's gonna be a lot of candy given out. So it's not gonna be something that we're gonna have to give out a truckload of it.
All right, what do we have a fund for this, right?
We charged the last event that happened in September, we charged it to the miscellaneous line item under parks. Typically budgeted for 1,800, I think there's
300 or something left. there's 300 and something left in our budget. So we have to decide what we're willing to spend. And nothing's been promised, nothing's been that. So the big picture here is we need a little direction. So Cindy is my idea queen. Cindy has all kinds of ideas. So, so did the event in September, it was well received. She's come up with this event for October. So we kind of need to, I guess, see what the council's thinking as far as money, as far as events, because, you know, big picture, I mean, A is just getting through the current, you know, end of the year, and then as we look into next year, you know, what does the council envision for Cindy's ideas? You know, do you envision this on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis? And if, you know, obviously this year we have the budget of 1,800 and we know where we're at, you know, how much are we looking to spend? I guess kind of some big picture items to come up with an outline.
First of all, I think that we should worry about this one right now, you know, this one.
Absolutely.
Take care of this one right now. And then we'll decide on, next year we'll decide on maybe 3 events. Figure them out when you want them, figure out and have a set amount of monies to work with. But I don't know, we got monies in park, we got thousands in parks, but I mean, I'm just saying that let's get through this and make our decision on this thing. And then next week or down the road here, we'll sit down about, because there's going to be nothing after this, right? I take it.
Correct.
So
Correct.
this year, so let's take care of this, and we'll worry about next year when we go to sit down with our budgets, and how's that sound?
What day are we talking about doing this on?
Oh yeah, we don't want to, that's another thing, you're right. This is something, we can't do it, I don't believe we can do this when somebody else is doing it. You know,
Well, that's what I wanted to kind of say, if I can stop here.
Go ahead, go
We've
ahead.
got the Lions Club that does this. I'm not sure what day. Do you know what day it is?
Day after
It's
this.
a
Day after.
Yeah.
Here's my thought, right? Like, we are working, we haven't had the greatest relationship with that organization in years. I don't know that, and I think Courtney's making good headway in rebuilding that kind of partnership,
Yep.
right?
Trying.
I'm wondering if maybe there's a way that we can partner with them.
We talked to them,
Yeah.
and in the future, we are going to.
Okay.
They have no issue with this one, this year being when it is. They're gonna work around it. And then they're gonna start sharing calendars so
Okay.
that they can come to, so they don't have
Are
this
they-
issue again.
Are they married to the Viking Lanes
No.
parking lot?
No.
Okay.
He told me that, I talked to Tim for about 45 minutes. I think it was last week sometime. But they have no problem with it. They think it's a better thing for South Beloit because some parents are busy on Saturdays, they can go to Viking Lanes, and if they're busy on Sundays, they go to the park, and some can go to both.
All right, so you've talked to them, they're
Yes,
aware that
yes.
we're talking about this, and there's
Yes.
not like a competing interest,
No.
they're not in any way
They're
upset.
already talking about what we can do at Easter.
Okay,
They
so-
want to do,
Okay, all right,
they want to
that's
do
good.
some joint nonprofit, we want to do, the park committee wants to get some nonprofits down there so they can make money too.
Mhm.
Because that's kind of what we, if they can benefit, it benefits all of us.
Make a lot of
I'm
kids,
happy
type
to-
of kids happy.
You know, this is gonna be, it's a good thing to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Nobody's
it is.
saying anything other
Nobody's
than that.
unhappy, yes.
I'm glad that we've approached the Lions Club ahead of time.
Yes, so
That
much.
is good foresight, all right.
One of the things that has come up is, so like you said, partnering with Lions, whatever, is, you know, one of the things that I said to Cindy, I said, you know, you're gonna need sponsors. You're gonna need some businesses, you're gonna need people that wanna do this. So if this gets the traction going of, hey, you've got some involvement, you've got people, then you can go to, I'll pick like a mid-states for example, and say, hey, we need $500 for this event, we'll let you throw your name up there, we'll put it all over the flyers, you know, but this is what we need to run the event. So, and how much do you remember how much was spent on the one in September?
I do. $438.
Approximate guess.
Give or take.
That was
Also-
way more than I thought. 400 was fine.
Also, just to not get it mixed, we sometimes use that line item, which we can increase the line item. That's not the end of the world. But we also have the Christmas tree lighting event that comes out of that also. So that's one that I wouldn't want anything to be done in November because we're already killing ourselves trying to, do one event. Let's work together.
Yeah, I already said, like, this is it, and then
Yeah.
you can plan for next year, but this would be it for this year.
Yeah, there's something like $60 to $90 that was not spent from the September.
Yeah, I try to be cost conscious. Yeah.
I
So-
guess a couple things that are coming up. So the touch a truck, do we need the trucks? So if we're talking, is that overtime for city workers when they're down there?
It would be for public works employees for sure.
Okay.
Police and fire could do it on the clock if they have a call, but it would be for public works. And we do a touch a truck in May with our
Public
Public Works Week. So
Okay.
that might be a better season for that piece of it, but we can.
Well, we can't afford to do something every,
No, that's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. So if we have Public Works Week, touch a truck. So, and then if there's not a call, you could have police and fire down there. Then it doesn't cost. I'm trying to think, how do we get harassed of 600 down to within what we have in our budget? So if we don't have to pay for overtime, that's going to take money off. Anything else that'll take money off?
That don't come out of that anyways. That comes out of their budget.
It doesn't? If it's for a park thing?
yeah.
Okay.
You think we could find $300 someplace?
I think we can find it. I just want to say that if we're going to do this, you got a good idea. If we're going to do this, make it look good this time because we can bring it to our sponsors or your sponsors later.
And that's been the intent, is to
Yeah.
get some interest going and then be able to get the sponsors.
And it's a lot of
Where
work.
that group can be more of organized what's going to happen rather than having to organize the event altogether.
I think we can probably find 300. Let's get this done with and let's do it. And this will be it for our park projects for this year. Okay, all right. What does everybody think about that?
That's good.
All right. Let's go. Trace?
Commissioner Morris,
Yeah.
Commissioner Prentice,
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson, Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes. Okay, discuss any items, action necessary to approve paramedic sign-on bonus employment agreement. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right.
I
Sorry.
can tell you this one is, we have one of our two offers that we made has accepted the full-time position. He is close to getting his paramedic license. We wanted to spell out the if, ands, what, here's how you would pay it back, here's how you wouldn't, all the agreements. This is very similar to the agreement that we have for training reimbursement. So this is just here's how we're gonna pay you, and here's how it will look, and here's how it will get paid out in these increments over this amount of time, and so forth.
Anything to say about it?
I think that as it's laid out, looks good. We're finally able to attract some people by being able to offer some financial incentives here. And it was a long time coming, but I think we all realized that the days of volunteers are gone, and there's got to be some financial incentive here. And the education level for a paramedic, you're giving up 2.5 years of your life for that education. So if they stick with us, we make it worth their while.
And I can add too, I forgot, so just as a reminder, Mayor, these amounts for the commitment, the 2-year for $5,000, the 3-year for $10,000, and how we would pay them out was all approved already by council.
Yeah, I know, we
This
approved
is
that,
just,
yeah.
hey, we got somebody that's about to get it, we should have an agreement so that they understand the parameters and make it look official. Relay a lot, so the idea of this sign-on bonus had long been approved. This is just the agreement
Any other discussion on this? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes. Approve hiring Kylie Camels as assistant to the finance director at a rate of $17 an hour. Motion, please.
Second? Second.
Any discussion? We,
The discussion is Don needs a right hand.
What we're finding is that we're just, for what we're willing to pay, we're not finding experienced people. So Kylie comes with a lot of potential, and because of that, we're able to get her. And you know, we look back 9 years or thereabouts when Melissa started as a part-timer going to Blackhawk College, and so this is a good pattern for us to bring in inexperienced, talented people and let them mature in the job.
they don't have a lot of bad habits that way. All right, any other discussion on this? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington? Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, approving hiring Jordan Dow for the street department at a rate of $17.34. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
This is also exciting. Jordan has a soft spot for South Beloit, graduated from South Beloit High School, has some key roots here. He's currently working third shift at his current employer, so he's willing to jump ship and come to us. He is taking a small pay cut, but I know that he is thrilled about working for the city, serving the city. He loves South Beloit. It's a shorter drive from Sherman. Yeah. So Jordan's slated to start the 30th or the 5th, I think, the following, and Kylie's slated to start a week from today.
A week from,
Full staff?
That'll get him full.
oh,
Smile, man, it's okay. Huh? That's
He does not, but he's very comfortable driving equipment. 1734, we don't get a lot of applicants with CDLs.
all right.
anything else? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes. We get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We adjourn.
Here?
Dave, I tell you what. Good seeing you. I'm not used to attorneys sitting there not sitting.